Thank you for tuning in and welcome back, team. In today's episode of Real Estate Advice, you'll learn how open houses are like first dates, 7 tips on finding the right one. My name is Andrew Finney, your real estate geek. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact information is below. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Okay, team, so this one's really fun. So open houses are one of those things when you're out there home shopping or considering buying a home sometime in the next 6 to 18 months. A lot of people start attending open houses. Well, did you know that they're a lot like first dates? Have you ever really thought about how buying a home is like playing Match.com? I mean, let's face it, you're looking at a home to purchase. And with that home to purchase, when you get your financing, it's going to be like a 30-year fixed mortgage. That's a heck of a long time. And unfortunately, it's such a long time, it outlasts many, many, many marriages. So if we're going to be playing this game and we're going to play Match.com and attend an open house, let's look and let's think about it like a first date. And here's 7 ways to know if that open house is the right house for you to marry. So the first thing that you want to do is do some stalking. So it's okay, you know, it might not always be so okay on your first date to go around and, or at least ways, let them know you're stalking them, right? But it's absolutely okay to stalk your first home or the open house. So, I mean, you really, before you even go on a first date, let's face it, you probably did what? You looked on Facebook, you looked on Google, you looked on Instagram, you looked on Pinterest, you looked on Snapchat. I mean, you looked on anything and everything to find out as much as you can. You were playing Google Master. Well, do the same thing and see what's going on with that house. Because after your first date, I'm willing to bet you probably Googled it and saw if they were tweeting or something about your first date, saying how much they enjoyed you and what they were saying so you could feel good about it and say, yeah, I like this guy or I like this gal, and move forward and maybe go to a second date, right? So the second thing that you got to do is look and see if the beauty is only skin deep. I mean, let's face it. Sometimes we get that initial rush of attraction and it's really based on physical appearance. We look at the person and we're like, yeah, you know what? She's really cute or he's really hot or whatever the case may be. And you're like, yeah, I would like to date them. Well, same thing with your house. You're like, yeah, I like that facade. I like that paint. I like what they've done to that house. It looks beautifully staged, but look a little bit deeper. Imagine that house whenever you wake up in the morning and waking up next to that first date. Make sure that you're waking up to that house. Hopefully you're not waking up to somebody on the first date, but you know where I'm going with that, right? Okay. Anyway, so we're talking about even if they're gorgeous, picture the house without those flashy details, without the flashy staging, without the flashy photos, and picture it whenever everything is out. And whenever you picture it, everything out, are you still swooning over that home? How's that kitchen popping for you? How's those bathrooms looking? How's the house really look and feel to you the next day? Think about it. And even though you can't ask your first date for like a blood test or tax returns, you can Google. And you can research and you can get information about that open house from your trusted real estate advisor. You can know the property tax records on it. You can find out more information about it. You can find out what the current health of that home is from your trusted real estate advisor, because they'll be happy to contact somebody for you. If you don't have a trusted real estate advisor yet, it's okay. Just let me know and I'm happy to help out. So let's look at the third tip. Figure out if you can handle a fixer-upper. Have you ever been out with that person and you're like, you know what? I really like 7 to 10 things about this person, but I would really hope that maybe I could help them go up one more notch, just one more or 2 more notches, right? Well, it's the same thing with a home if it's a fixer-upper condition. You got to really think about it. Can you afford the paint in that house to repaint that house? If it needs new carpets or new rugs, new floors, whatever, can you afford to do that? And be honest with yourself and consider some things are actually like a handyman project, and other things you're going to need a licensed professional contractor. You know, if you're looking at that kitchen and it has that old butcher block on it, you know, for reference, butcher blocks are just like wood with laminate on it, or those white tiles that I know that when I show homes to families here in Las Vegas, they're like, I don't like those. And I'm like, well, you can just change it. You could, but is it within the budget to do it? If it is, great. If not, then let's go find you a different house that has some quartz, some granite, or something else, some other kind of countertop that you like, right? There's really simple things that you could do that really make a home pop, but that would be a whole different talk for another day. For the purpose of today, you gotta think, are you willing to invest the time to fix it up? Are you willing to invest the money to make it yours? If you can, great. If you can't, be honest with yourself up front. Sometimes a fixer-upper isn't the best thing for a first-time home buyer, but if this is like your second home or something, then it might be a good idea to consider it if it has light cosmetic issues, and that's the key word there, cosmetic issues. We're not talking about like roof and all that other crazy stuff that can be very, very expensive. So the fourth thing that you want to do whenever you're comparing an open house and house like a first date is being inquisitive. You want to be nosy, and some of you are better at this than others, aren't you? I bet you're thinking right now, yeah, my friend told me I was a little bit stalkerish and a little bit inquisitive would be like a nice way to maybe put it. And maybe in reality, you're just like, hey, maybe you should be the one giving Alex Trebek a run for the money and doing Jeopardy because you're asking so many questions, right? So, but you really do want to be nosy with your open house, especially if you're starting to feel that feeling in your stomach and in your mind, you're visualizing living there, and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, this would be great. Well, be nosy. Get into it. Get deep into knowing what's going on with that property. So once you've done your Googling and you've tried to look past the appearance and look into the soul of this house, right? At some point, you're going to be like wanting to speak to actual words to a person. Well, you got to speak actual words to the house as well. You got to consider what you're doing with that house and use your brain and trust your gut. You know, it's really interesting. I share with my teammates and I share with a lot of other agents and people too, that generally if you feel it in your pit of your tummy and it feels good, then normally there's a good thing that's about to happen. If you feel it in the pit of your tummy and something just ain't right, it don't get any better. So you might as well just go ahead and pull shocks on that and go find another beautiful home to seduce, right? So something to think about there. The fifth way is actually not getting seduced by the competition. Let's face it, if you had your eye on a lady or a gentleman, right, and you have your eye on this person, and you're like, yeah, I really, really like this person, and then you see someone else talking to them, you're like, what do they got? What they got, what they doing, why are they talking to them? That's all about me. They really want me, right? Well, competition breeds desire. And what's happening there is actually a psychological principle called the law of scarcity. People always want what they think that they can't have instead of appreciating what they do have, unfortunately. But by appreciating what you do have and by keeping context in with the open house, you'll be able to better consider what's going on with that property and not be wooed and not be too swift to make a decision just because the competition is swooning. If you keep your head and your guts about you, then you're going to make a good decision for your financial future and a great decision for your new home that you're going to live in. So don't get seduced by the competition. Just make sure that you're following each one of these 7 steps. Think about it closely. And consider if it's something that you really want to marry. It's got to have that marriage potential to it because you're looking at a 30-year fixed mortgage in many, many, many cases. So let's look at the 6th tip. The 6th thing is, hey, let your trusted real estate agent be your wingman or winglady, if you will, right? Let them think of like a group setting or a group date or something like whenever you're first meeting somebody and you're kind of feeling each other out a little bit. What's it feel like? You're like, I'm a little bit nervous maybe to be over there 100% just that person and you alone, but you like kind of think that you want it, right? You kind of think that you want that time. Well, with the house, let your agent be your wingman. Let them guide you. Let them kind of play chaperone at the open house. Invite them to the open house with you. If it's a house that you have like a lot of interest in from the pictures, you're just like, yeah, I gotta see it. I just gotta see it, Andrew. It's a beautiful home. Invite your agent and allow them to be your wingman to help you keep your clarity, keep your reasoning, keep your logic about you, and point some things out to you that while you're maybe glowing or swooning over the kitchen and the beautiful granite, the beautiful cabinetry, and the way the house is painted and decorated, the agent might be pointing out things, okay, so we got a settling crack here. We have over here, it looks like we're gonna need some water straps on that water heater. Oh, by the way, did you see that moisture stain? We need to get a home inspector to check that out and make sure everything's okay. The agent will be keeping their eyes and their perspective on the ball to protect your best interest while you're getting, I mean, let's face it, you're swooning over the house. It's something new for you. But for us trusted real estate advisors, we expect this. And we know that you're going to be really, really excited. At the same time, we want to make sure that you have all the information available to make the best decision as possible for you moving forward. So invite your agent to be your wingman or your winglady, right? Now, number 7. It's diary time, truth be told, right? So check your notes. You know, every time I go show a property with client, I always give them a handout of all the properties that we're going to be looking at that day. Generally, it's like 2 or 3 properties that we'll look at in a given day, and normally they write an offer on one of them. That being said, it's easier to do that if you're keeping notes and keeping star ratings like a 1-star to 5-star. And just for example, and you can do this with your dates, you'll probably find it really interesting doing it with a date. If you rate a date and you rate a house the same, it's kind of interesting. So it's like 1-star to 5-star, right? So 5 stars like, oh my God, I want to marry it now, or marry this person now, or I want to buy this house right now. With 1 being like, oh, gouge my eyes out. It is so awful. It was awful. I can't handle it anymore. Take it away. So anything that's a 4 or above is those things that in your mind's eye, in your heart of hearts, you're like, yeah, you know, this feels good. This feels good. Nothing's really ever 100%, but I can see myself living here. I can see myself being very happy with that person. So consult your diary on your notes. Take your pictures that you need to make a better decision. Rate that house just like you'd rate your date. Turn back to your notes. Consider all your options. And when you're ready, let your trusted real estate agent know that you're ready to give it a try and move forward onto maybe a second date. So this has been 7 tips on how open houses are like first dates. Tell me what you're thinking about this video in the comment section below. It's been a lot of fun making this video for you today. Let me know what was most impactful. Was it the maybe stalking recon or doing some reconnaissance on a home that really stood out to you? Or was it maybe being inquisitive and even nosy? Or perhaps maybe it was the last point with consulting your diary where you're actually keeping perspective on the open houses that you're attending and the houses that you're viewing, both online and in person. If you get in the habit of that 1 to 5-star rating, looking at pictures online, then you won't be disappointed when you get in person. If you're only going out and looking at properties that are like a 4 and above in the pictures to you, then you're going to be pleasantly surprised how swift, how wonderful the experience can be just by giving it a little bit in perspective and thinking about an open house or buying a home through the eyes of maybe a first date. Now tell me what you're thinking in the comment section below. I'm going to put my contact information up right now. If you have any questions about this video, or if you simply want to drop me a line and say hello, feel free to hit me up. Love to hear from you. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, please subscribe to this channel. Number 2, please like this video. And number 3, please share this video around with someone you know is going to be able to help. Thank you for hanging in there with me today, team. In between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. Make it a great day.